Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi. I'm so happy to be doing our first crossover, bitch session, everything iconic crossover.
It's an iconic bitch sesh.
Or I was thinking bitchy and iconic.
A bitch icon. I don't know.
Bitch icon. Or an iconic bitch.
Bitch, everything's iconic.
Guys.
Even though you don't have an S on it.
And what a week, too, because there's so much going on in the world of Bravo.
Thank God
This is the perfect week.
Yeah, we have 4 shows to keep us moving. It almost is like we're not even seeing the outside world. We're not seeing this terrible pandemic we're living through. We're just living in a Bravo world, and I'm happy for that.
Honestly, thank God for Bravo right now. I don't know how I would be doing all of this. How are you guys holding up with all of this craziness?
You know, first I'll say we're healthy. And I think
we're healthy.
That's important. We're healthy and we're safe.
And so that is the first lucky thing. You know, things are happening. Things are falling away. Identities are being stripped. You know, I had to call poison control because I found my son just rooting around in my husband's Pepsid.
No.
What happened?
No, I don't know. No one was watching him. Just the children are running like feral. But,
amok.
You know, doing our best over here. How are you guys? I'm
just... my anger and frustration and fear are coming out in strange ways. Like I did this what I thought was an amazing thing was I ordered from like this amazing LA restaurant called John and Vinny's, where I was like, I'm going to order us not like a meal, but like food to cook. And so they have this, like one of my favorite things is their bolognese sauce. It's called like a 15-hour bolognese. Like it's like stewed over by an Italian grandmother for like 15 hours straight. It's like this amazing.
Really a long bolognese.
Yes, a long bolognese. That's how serious it is. And I was like, this is going to be amazing.
Like that you're calling it a bolognese.
What is it called? Bolognese? I don't know what it's called.
A bolognese.
I don't know what it is, but it's important. And so I serve it to my family, my daughter, my husband, and neither of them enjoyed it. And I have never gotten angrier in my life. I did not cook this, but the fact that they did not like it as much as me came out so sideways for me where I was like, how can you not? I had to leave the table. I could not sit with them or look at them in their faces.
Did you do a Teresa, like a prostitution whore, and then throw them?
I mean,
that's what I'm picturing in my head.
My daughter, my 6-year-old, is a prostitution whore by far, but no, I just had to leave the table. And I was so angry. And I look back at it now, like, why? Who cares if they like the sauce? Like, they don't have to fucking eat it. They can feed themselves. But, like, I took it so personally that something else was going on.
Well, you can't control the emotions right now, though. I'm feeling the same way. I just started doing, like, those Peloton workouts. Like, I got the app. They're doing a free trial. And I literally, like, cry in the middle of the workouts. Like, it's just like I'm happy tears, like, looking at the class on the app. And then I'm, like, sad tears thinking about how I'm never going to class and whatever. It's just, like, all coming out at weird times, though. But it's just, I'm noticing, I'm, like, looking at my reflection in the Peloton app and being like, why am I so welled up?
When did my reflection show who I am inside? I'm obsessed with Cody Rigsby. That's over there. He's a great
Oh, my God. I'm obsessed with Cody Rigsby.
Obsessed.
Wait. Who? Oh, this is Peloton. I'm like, who's Cody
I'm like,
Rigsby?
how can I get to Cody? I think it'll happen one day, just organically. Like, I feel that we have a connection at some point. I don't know how to get there, but I'm hoping one day we will.
Does he know you? Does he say like, "Hey, Casey, I'm talking to you"?
No,
that's not how it works. It's like a video that you're watching.
Yeah, I'm watching a video, so they can't see me, but. What people can see is that if there's like 20,000 people in the class, I am always ranked like 19,004. It's
I
really
would never want to see my
like,
ranking.
People who are in their 70s, there's like
it's.
And he'll shout out the people at the top of the list. So if they're at like the top, he'll shout them up. But what I love about him is that like he'll be talking about the workout and he'll be like, okay, raise your resistance to 30 or whatever. And then he'll tell a story about like his life in college or something. He'll be like, yeah, I fucked a girl in college. Now get out of your seats. And then he'll just like,
he'll be like, get your wigs on straight. You're a mess. Pull your life together. He's the best ever. And he's
just shouts slay.
I'm very attracted to him as well.
I'm attracted to one of my yoga guys, a man named Melvin who works at Core Power. And it is not live, so he's just not. He could have filmed this 15 years ago. He could be dead, not dead, but he could be have passed.
He could be
from
no longer with
natural circumstances. Nothing recently, but like I don't know what's going on with Melvin, but I'm very attracted to his body and spirit.
You know, we're all cooped up. We're all horny.
Yep.
I also got to say off the top, Casey, thank God for Black Monday because I just finished binging it last night. I'm a little upset because I'm like caught up now. But season 2 was fantastic. Like I loved it so much. The fact that we get you and Regina Hall in 80s clothing, like just acting the shit out of that show. It's just the best. It's the best TV.
You're so nice to say that. And I did a plug for it last week and I hope people don't think I put you up to this and I appreciate it so much.
No, I demand it. I demand it to talk about Black Monday because I truly, like my boyfriend and I are both obsessed with it. I honestly think like you're amazing in it. And Regina Hall is giving like an Emmy-worthy performance.
I know. And Dawn was nominated for an Emmy for it last year. It's just people aren't finding it. There's just so much TV. And but people are starting their articles of like the show you're not watching that you should be. So I think we're headed in the right direction.
We're on the way. We're on our way.
I think so. Because it's so good. And
it's
so
funny.
good.
It's so funny.
It's just hysterical. And Andrew Rannells too, like just watching all of you guys play off of each other. And I really think season 2, I loved season 1, but this season just feels like it's like a next level kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it like knows what
Interesting.
it is.
I did not write on the second season.
Were you writing on season 1, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the shift.
So that's the shift I think you're feeling. That you're enjoying. I could not write.
No, but season 1 was great too. Everyone should binge the whole thing.
Yeah.
Danny, thank you for saying that. You're so sweet. And I mean, should we get into what just occurred?
Yeah.
What just happened yesterday?
You guys, that Beverly Hills premiere, it was wild. The last couple of minutes, of course, it was some of the best television I've ever seen on Bravo. The editing of the last, 2 minutes?
Maybe even less.
Flawless.
It might have been 30 seconds. Like, not enough for sure. It was true, but it was powerful. It's like, remember when Judi Dench won an Oscar for like an 8-minute performance in Elizabeth, or was it? No, Shakespeare in Love, one of those.
Yeah.
And they were it's the shortest amount of screen time ever. Like, that's what it was. This was a Judi Dench level of amazing for a short period of time.
It was like thrilling and titillating and scary, and it was truly all things. I also just have to point out that we're on a Zoom and Danny's background is one of the sets of a reunion.
Which reunion?
It just looks like you're sitting in the reunion.
Is it a Potomac? Like I can't tell where.
Unclear. You know what?
Beverly Hills.
I saw a file online and I just hit download. Viruses be damned. I just hit download and it downloaded a bunch of Zoom backgrounds. And so there's, I don't know, all of these Bravo ones, although it is like, I think backwards because there's writing on it and it's showing up backwards on my computer, but that's neither here nor there. The point is,
well, it looks like one is
of
not backwards and one is. Where it says Real Housewives, that seems to be regular, and then the Bravo sign is backwards.
You know, we're all doing our best.
I love that someone was like, someone going to want these backgrounds, and the truth is, someone does want them.
Yes.
And it's you, Danny.
They knew. They knew.
I love them.
Okay, we had so much to talk about. Danny, what are your initial just hits? I mean, we got Sutton. We got Garcelle.
Garcelle's great. I will say, okay, maybe this is a little pessimism right off the bat, but I do think that last season we had a similarly exciting premiere, and then the season was not great. So right off the bat, I just want to say that I'm hopeful and I'm excited about what's to come. I think this was one of the best premieres we've ever had on Beverly Hills. But at the same time, I want to say like, well, let's see what we got because
you don't want to get hurt again, you know?
Right. I've been hurt too many times.
You don't want to put your heart out there.
Last year really suffered from loosey goosey apple juicy. It really brought us down to a level because nobody cared and it flowed through the whole season. It was a poison apple.
But right off the bat, we've got Kyle and Shahida. We've got Caftans. You know, we've got Dolce & Gabbana. We've got Lisa Rinna Lisa Vanderpump in like a ghost voice.
Wait, the Hamlet. That was like a scene from Shakespeare.
That was
what the fuck was that?
I was like, we're hearing a ghost voice of Lisa Vanderpump echoing through Dolce & Gabbana's house. It was
heavy as the head.
I love that the editor like sat down and they manipulated that vocal of Lisa Vanderpump. Put in that.
That was art. That was like you said, Hamlet's
They
ghost.
did a similar echo in Atlanta too. I think this is something new they're playing with, which is almost like giving the characters like a reference point or like an inner monologue or just, it's very fun.
Subtext. It's subtext.
And bringing Lisa in knowing like she doesn't want to be there feels so good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely shady. And also just with the visual against Rinna with the crown on. I mean, it was all so insane, but it was wonderful.
And what do you make of Garcelle?
I love Garcelle. She was doing a lot of vibrator work in her first episode. Like she just kept saying like she was bringing the vibrator and then she was talking about the vibrator. But I love her and I'm very excited about her. She seems like the type of woman that I would like to be friendly with. Whereas Sutton seems like someone I like to watch on TV, but not necessarily someone I would want to know. Does that make sense?
Yes. Now, Garcelle gave us fashion, beauty, class, talent.
Garcelle also gave us some lines when she said, I didn't know if I should pack my white vibrator or my black vibrator, but we were going to New York, so I went with the black one because it's more urban.
Exactly. She's giving
She
us
also
humor.
gave us Taz, the assistant. T-A-Z.
Oh, love Taz. But what Sutton gave us was a frumpy purple outfit with an old Dolce bra underneath it and some bangs that rivaled Kyle as far as a misplacement on the face. It was tough.
Sutton was wild, and she reminded me of Dana Pam from, like, remember Dana Pam?
Yes,
she reminded me of, like, a richer version of her. Like, I don't know, she's giving me that energy, maybe a little bit Southern. That first time she did the confessional where she just shaded everyone in the cast and just made fun of everyone's outfits, I was like, oh, she's, like, very messy. And I feel like it's going to be fun to watch her be messy.
Yeah, because she has not one point, I think, of anything in common with one of them. Like, I don't see even an inch of crossover anywhere. So it's like bringing an alien and just dropping her into the fire.
She felt like she had more in common with a Sonia or a Dorinda, which is like someone who had no talents of their own, married well, is from a different time. It felt very New York, New Money, as opposed to Beverly Hills to me.
I felt like she was a little Dallas too. Like she reminded me of what's the Cam on Dallas?
Yes.
Like, yeah, it was very Cam.
She also gave me like first season Luann vibes, trying to be like kind of like holier than thou kind of thing, where I think we're going to see her unravel as the mess that she is. We're going to see her unravel. Oh, go on.
Have you watched any of the old? Bravo's been doing all like the old reruns and marathons of these shows, and it's so fun to go back.
I wish I could, and I saw the clip that you posted of them running and jumping and screaming and yelling to go to Home Goods, the New York cast.
What?
That was an edit. That was like they were going to Scary Island, but I just put in Home Goods. But yeah, I love a Home Goods. I worship a Home Goods.
I do. Please know I was an ambassador to Home Goods, and I'm obsessed. It's everything.
The best. I miss it. That's what I miss most about this whole pandemic. That's the worst part of this pandemic, aside from the lives lost.
That's right, Danny.
Home Goods is closed.
It's the only store that is in walking distance to me, and I would walk my little ass over there any chance I could get. Beautiful.
Home Goods is the most comforting place on earth. You just walk the aisles, you grab a mug at the end. There's 1,000 mugs right when you leave, and then there's like inexplicably Easter candy at the end, and pillows and stationery and Christmas ornaments.
The checkout part is my favorite part of the whole shopping experience because you always find the good. I like the candy orange slices by the counter. Like, I love it all.
Love them. Like those little caramel balls. They just have it all there.
They just have so many pillows with tassels.
So much pillows. They also do a lot of like s'more stuff. So like in their food section, there are a lot of creative s'mores. So there'll be like s'mores on a sucker or s'mores in like on a cracker. Like there's all sorts of different kind of versions of s'mores that they put by the checkout counter.
It's very important.
If you ever need a gourd at any time of the year, you know where you can get one.
Always get a gourd or a basket.
Yeah.
It's great.
Or you can put a gourd in a basket.
Or like a Le Creuset like pot or I don't know.
I even like to get the olive oils in the pasta
Oh,
noodles
yes,
there.
of course.
Wow.
If you ever
need to get the undies. I like that you can really find like some thongs there lined up like they're each individually on hangers, and you can really find some good
Home Goods. Never seen that.
You're just getting thongs at
Guys,
Home Goods.
I don't think I ever have told you the story, Danielle, and I'm sorry, Danny, to share this, but
I need it.
Okay, one time I dated this guy, and he's like, "I want you to wear some trashy lingerie."
Okay.
So I marched my ass over because I had, no money, and again, Home Goods has everything. I marched my ass right over. And I found like the trashiest lingerie I could find, which was hard because Home Goods is amazing.
I was going to say it feels like a Christian store to me, so it's
I know none of it made sense. Then I was like, I don't know if this is trashy enough, so I tried to like cut out some crotch area. I tried something. Okay, it was horrible. Like it was just so embarrassing. And then when I wore it, he was like, I meant that like high end store in Beverly Hills called Trashy Lingerie.
No.
Oh my God.
And I had like my undies hanging by a thread
I'm picturing it had like word art on it or something because everything at Home Goods says like live, laugh, love on it.
Eat, pray, love, live, laugh, the artist way.
Oh,
Happiness project.
No. I mean, look, I can't stand a judgment. Have I gotten most of my sexy lingerie from the Amazon, shipping department? Sure. But I do feel like I see this underwear as like, you know how like when you're trying to make snowflakes and you just put paper together and then cut out pieces? Like that's what I feel like you did to your lingerie.
100% what I did. Now, speaking of no snowflake is the same, let's talk about Kyle and Shahida's caftan line.
Those fashions.
Those
fashions, which Kyle was just seeing for the very first time.
Okay, Kyle said, and I quote, I mean, I love animals, I love nature, I love butterflies, and poof, it shows up in my mailbox. We've never seen Kyle this stupid. She looked like an idiot. She's like, I didn't know I had to like put looks together or do anything with the models, like while her daughter just like rolled her face in the background with like an ice roller.
As a woman that has failed on a small scale in fashion, namely Kyle by Eileen too, she failed. To go bigger, to go national, to go to New York Fashion Week and think you're going to now have success. To fall upwards
with resort wear.
Resort wear. And I felt so bad for Shahida, who designed all these clothes, put them on the racks, and was all ready for this whole fashion show. And then Kyle just came in and was like pulling them off the rack and be like, what's this? No. And it's like she worked all on this line, and now you're just throwing them in the garbage.
And it was just everything Kyle took was just a bathrobe. She only sent bathrobes down that aisle.
And then we had Tracy, who was a very sour figure.
Yeah. She was a star.
Yeah. I love Tracy's whole take is like, okay, I've been working since 5 a.m. Okay. So I didn't know your daughters were going to walk, but if they'd like to, yeah, we'll get to it. I was like, oh, God damn, Tracy.
People that are passive aggressive like that. It makes my blood boil. Like, she works for Kyle. Whatever you want to say, she does seem to work for Kyle. So either do it or don't do it.
Or does she work for Shahida?
Oh.
Well, probably Shahida's in the day-to-day.
Shahida works for Kyle, right?
Yeah, because let's be clear here. Shahida, your fashions aren't great. You know what I mean?
Like, they're not Shahir nor Shahir.
Yeah, they're
not Shahir.
Kyle by Shahida is no better than Kyle by Eileen.
Kyle by Eileen by Shahida.
It is
by
not.
Tracy.
By Tracy.
By
you know who I also loved was that messy gay who called Kyle and was like, Tracy's not happy with you.
When Tracy's like, keep Kyle away from me.
He was such a little messy gay. Oh, I loved him.
Just want to call you and warn you, Tracy's not happy with you. And it was like he's just stirring the pot. Like, give him the diamond. We need him on the show.
Who is he? He was just a voice in the background.
Just a silent soldier in the background.
Now, Kyle's bangs.
Look,
they are a mistake.
Now, as Greg Bennett said to us, she did get out in front of them at the beginning of the episode when she said, this was not what I wanted to do. This was for Halloween. I wanted to look like my character. But I still blame her because they're not for her. And
I blame her for adding that bump in the back, that Dusty Springfield-esque kind of Bridget Bardot trying to be like this bump it in the back.
We're at a place in technology, as we know, that you can just apply bangs. It is not hard.
Or even clip-ons.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And what was the reasoning anyway? It was like, oh, as a child in the first Halloween you had bangs, so like you're having bangs again? And I love the Halloween movies, but that didn't make any fucking sense. Like, as a 7-year-old in the very first movie you had bangs, so you must, as an adult character,
yeah, you also
bangs.
had braids and pigtails. We're not going to put you in those.
It's bizarre.
It's so bizarre to see her with those bangs. It actually made me come to her as like, oh, this is a new character. And this character is dumb.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I've never seen Kyle in such a kind of like intellectually inferior moment. Say what you will, but Dorit having to like help her. Mm-hmm. Dorit, I didn't mind this episode.
Me neither.
I liked her too. I liked her too. I never liked Dorit.
I came into Dorit last season. She came new. She came afresh to me where I'm liking her fashion. I'm liking her looks. I'm liking her standing up for herself with Lisa Vanderpump. She really came into her own for me last season when she stood up to Camille. I'm into
Did you
her.
see how Dorit talked about you guys on Watch What Happens Live last night?
No. And I didn't see it. I just heard about it. And I just want to say, Danny, I didn't see it and I'm upset if she's upset because I don't want to throw our dearest Brian Moylan under the bus, but now we did not come with that information, but do we fact check? Do we care what anyone says? No.
No, we never fact check.
And much like Kyle's bangs, like that's on us.
Yeah.
Right.
And much like Kyle's bangs, we can't erase them. We can just grow from them.
Or add a bump it.
What I found so interesting about Kyle is her taglines are always like, in Beverly Hills, I'm whatever. And this season, her tagline's not even about her. It's like about everyone else. It's like everyone around me. I don't remember what the wording is, but it's like the first time that her tagline's not about her. And I sort of am feeling like Kyle's just going to be the one who like is kind of like the anchor of the show in a way now that she's the only OG left. But I feel like she's not really going to get in the mix, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
I don't know. I mean, you know who is in the mix though? Someone so unexpected, but so ready for her is Denise Richards.
Yeah.
Now,
who I think she's never looked better. I think she looks fantastic.
Gorgeous. Do we never not see her in a bootcut jean, no matter how fancy or unfancy the party is? Of course. Never not seen her in that.
Never not in a bootcut. Someone did send Danielle and I a kind of a funny thing that said it was a picture of Denise and then it just said under it, essential worker.
Essential to these series.
Essential to the series.
Yeah, she is essential
She's
right
giving
now.
a lot.
She's giving a lot, and she's getting the bitch edit, which I'm here for.
Me too.
100%. I'm excited for it.
And we cannot forget that she was married to Charlie Sheen. You do not get involved with Charlie Sheen in a marriage situation without being a freak yourself.
And
which
Brandi Glanville is the female Charlie Sheen.
Yes. Yes.
That's so 100% on. And I loved how they were talking about Charlie Sheen. Erica and Teddy, they were like bringing up this lawsuit. And Denise was like, yeah, whatever. He's done worse or said worse about me. Like, she didn't even care.
And then she's like, get me my fucking reposado, you goddamn bitch.
They kept that in, purposely
to
kept that in.
see her, because she seems so down to earth and like, I just came from nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I can't see her talking to a waiter that way. It was a shock. Again, as a former waiter for many years, I don't love it, but at the same time, I loved it.
Well, and Brandi has been tweeting like, I used to be a waitress and she was a bitch and you are how you treat people. It's like, she was acting like she was just like a fan watching the show and just like live tweeting.
Brandi is never not getting enmeshed in these shows.
She's messy. She's messy. And I'm actually very excited for Brandi to come on the show, but I'm a little worried. Like I said at the top, it's like, I hope we're not going to have to wait until the end of the season for all of that stuff to play out, because I kind of feel like we might have to wait.
I can't.
Hopefully I'm wrong.
I can't wait. Not now. Not during these times. We need it to happen. We need it to happen soon, because I can't.
Did you notice this episode had like 1 million scenes? Like it had way more scenes than particularly a premiere usually does. I actually like thought to myself, I was like, I should go back and watch and like count how many scenes are in this episode, because it was moving at like a rapid rate.
But it felt dense in a nice way that felt like they've got something here.
I hope so.
Because last year, the minute Vanderpump left, it just like crashed and burned. And so that's why I think they took great pains in the last 2 minutes to tell us like, Denise will speak to this. You will not be watching part 2 of someone just walking off. Because they were probably so pissed at Vanderpump for that, and I bet they're going to be even more pissed that Denise has something to show and she's not willing to show it.
But breaking that fourth wall of like, we're on camera, don't say a thing. We're on camera, don't say a thing.
And then screaming, bravo, bravo, bravo.
So good. Goosebumps. I got goosebumps when that happened.
Now, another question that I have for Denise, not that you guys can answer it, is that, like, who cares? She's fucking Brandi. That's not a problem. Like, yeah, whatever. But is it that Aaron didn't know? Is that the secret? Is that the thing?
You know, I think it's probably more of like she wanted to control the narrative of how she's like presented on screen. And so now she's not in control of it.
But to get involved with Brandi and think you're going to be in control of anything is...
I think you're going to get out alive.
No, you're not going to get out alive.
Can we talk about how Teddy's still on the show?
Oh
How is
my
that happening?
God.
How does this keep happening?
Even
What
her
did we
pregnancy
do?
reveal was like a snooze. She's like, oh God, I'm not a good public speaker. I'm sitting.
Yeah, we know. Stop speaking in public. It means
It's shocking to me. And she seems like a nice person, but I just don't understand
She
how
doesn't
she's on
even
the
seem
show.
like a nice person to me. I don't think she seems that nice.
it's just like watching paint dry. And I texted Casey this and like, I can't believe we're 3 seasons in with her. And her dad was engaged to Queen icon legend Meg Ryan. And we've never even gotten a Meg Ryan appearance on this show.
She's got the fucking audacity to keep her off the show. The only interesting thing about her.
I know. Guys.
And usually when these housewives are like related to famous people, we always get at least like one scene.
Glimpse.
That's usually the whole reason why they're on the show.
I know. And we got nothing. We've gotten Harry Hamlin up the wazoo.
Harry's making pies on camera.
He's going camping.
With their rat problem. He was fixing those rats at one point.
He's been in it to win it.
Oh my God.
God bless him.
Speaking of Harry, Lisa just is such a learned housewife. Like, she knows exactly what she's doing. I really enjoy her. She is so good at seeming wonderfully on board and supportive of all the women, but also stirring the shit. Like, she's so good.
Yeah. When she said about Erica Jane, like when she went, not about Erica, but when they went back to that sort of like bathing suit strip club in New Jersey.
Shakers.
Thank you. And when, sorry, I just had to like that name had to just wash over me real quick.
Mm-hmm. Shakers.
When she went to Shakers, when she said, I just can't imagine. What's her daughter's name? Delilah?
Amelia Gray.
I just can't imagine her. It's like, yeah, look, none of us necessarily want to be shaking our assets in a bathing suit
at Shakers,
but you're there because you need to make fucking money. Your daughters are spoiled, not models that are modeling because you're their mother.
She also had the realization in like real time that she does it for free on her Instagram, and then they showed the clip.
Yeah.
She's like, I mean, I guess I do that. And then it was like, you could see in her face, like she malfunctioned for a second.
Yeah, she's like, I am Shakers.
She realized she just should be working there. And it was like a fembot and Austin Powers malfunctioning.
I do love her.
I did think she came off. I think she came off very rude actually in that scene and kind of just showed the little like bit of just entitlement that I think I did appreciate Erica taking us back, because Erica really let me down last season. I was just like, what are you doing? Where are you? Right. But this year I feel like we're getting, Tom as a possible like sub-in lawyer for Denise. We're getting Chicago.
When Tom was like, I'll go with her to that, like,
I
fell in love with him all over again. Like, I was like my hero, my lawyer, like anyone that is like, I'm going to stand by your side and help you. To me I'm automatically attracted to.
A little birdie told me that Queen Erica is quarantining with Mikey,
of course,
and like a full glam team.
Sure.
And a publicist.
Right.
As I have said, that glam team lives in her closet. They just sit there until she enters, and then they all like spring to life. But they literally live in that house
puppets.
Like puppets. Like they come to life when the lights come on, I believe.
And I feel like they're sketching her quarantine looks for her, like when she's going to be appearing. Did you guys see Nene Leakes was doing like an Instagram live? And I love Nene, but she was like in full hair and makeup. And I was like, how did you like get this full hair and makeup for the court? Maybe she did it herself, but I feel like a lot of these people probably are like begging their hair and makeup people to come over.
I'll tell you who's not is Portia. Portia was taking it to the streets. Like she was like, how do I get hair done, makeup done? Like Portia is lost, and she's like, I don't know. She was like going to go on Watch What Happens Live or do some sort of Instagram live, and was literally like, how do I do this? Like
Sonia Morgan, when we did Watch What Happens, wasn't wearing a stitch of makeup.
She said she had on like
so much younger than us.
Yeah, she did say she had on like a pancake. That's all she brought with her too.
She looked amazing.
Gorgeous, flawless.
Is there anything else from Beverly Hills? Did you guys notice the agency hat? I'm tired of looking at that agency hat.
That agency party scared me. Like to be at a place where like just like frat boys turn into realtors. No. It
was weird. Like when they showed Mauricio and some woman off camera was like, "You ready for a shot?" And he's like, "Let's do it."
They really fucked Kyle with that little moment.
Yeah, that's going to come into play later. I feel like if anything were to, I'm not saying that it's going to, but if anything were to ever happen between Mauricio and Kyle, they'd play that clip in a flashback.
No.
My last thought, honestly, is just that the New York Palace is where my father and stepmom got married. So, and I didn't know you could do a drive-by, a drive-up, and a drive-through for a pretzel in New York.
They were so proud about getting those regular Cokes.
Yeah.
Kyle even tweeted about it.
Really? And eating carbs.
They didn't
like they've
take a
ever
sip.
eaten a pretzel. Like they took 3 bites of that pretzel between the two of them. That was
I did love that Garcelle was like totally fine to shade Kyle on the looks. She was just like, they weren't good, basically. Like
They
they're
weren't.
not good.
They were
I mean,
not.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, Kyle, did you see Kyle was like tweeting at Dorit? Because I feel like the Housewives medium is Twitter. They're just like, that's where we live.
Dorit and Kyle are going to have a little bit of a feud, I think.
Big time. Because Dorit tried to
excited.
tweet after it. She was like, Kyle, all the looks were amazing. And Kyle wrote back like, thank you, Dorit. But just so you know, you did not save my show. I had a production team that I paid for.
Yeah,
all right.
that pink-haired woman that was very angry with you.
Tracy.
Tracy.
Our star. The star of the episode.
Star Tracy. Danny, anything else?
No, I'm very excited. I think we've had like an amazing week or two of introductions on these shows. I think between New York with Leah and then on Beverly Hills with Garcelle and even Sutton, I think like people aren't always so wonderfully introduced on these shows. And I think we got a good thing going.
We sure do.
To live in this world where New York and Beverly Hills are on at the same time. It's an embarrassment of riches that I'm a little worried for like the rest of my year.
And Potomac's coming soon.
Exactly. So it's like,
gorgeous.
wow. But at the same time, we've never needed it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost as if Andy and Bravo were ready, as opposed to our country.
They've always been a
Was
step
not.
ahead.
Bravo
They're always a step ahead,
is
and they give us
ready.
what we need
Yeah.
when we need it.
Did they cause this to give us these shows?
I'm worried about where we're going with the shows. Like, I think like 6 months down the line, like what's going to happen to us when we don't have new shows.
That's what I was saying,
scary.
Danny.
I'm hoping
like scared
Salt
about the
Lake.
rest of the year. Like, where am I then?
Salt
And
Lake.
I'm not kidding you. Like, I really do. This sounds dramatic, but I do rely on these shows for my mental health. Like, I need these shows.
Danny, it doesn't sound dramatic. Danielle and I, as have you, have devoted the last 3 years.
Yeah, that's true.
And I will
We've
say, when
put
I've gone through
ourselves behind them.
when I've gone through a truly emotional, terrible time in my life, as has happened to all of us at some point, like beyond our control, beyond the pale of what we could expect from life, and I can't even watch TV or read a book, like where I'm just the only thing I can stomach are these shows. Like literally, like the only thing that like relaxes me, like it's like a warm bath, are these fucking shows, and I
love that we
why.
all call it relaxing when it is literally monsters screaming at each other. But it is like the sounds of the ocean. It's like it just washes over me.
I'm never more at peace than when I hear women yelling at each other. I even love The View, and I watch The View and The Housewives at night. Like, that's my wind down time. And it's like, that's all I need. I need like women with like aggressive opinions yelling at me. And then I'm like able to sleep at night.
It's a Xanax for
Feels
for
real
the
good.
senses.
They also all give us something different. Like Beverly Hills is a totally different flavor than New York, which New York this week, or should we talk about New York?
Yes, please.
I mean, New York this week was so fun.
So good.
Which do
New
you
York this
prefer?
week.
Oh, I love New York's my number one of anything of all time.
Me too.
New York is so good. They're so funny and bananas and full of themselves. Like and they're so unlikable, and yet like Sonia actually is likable, but there's not another likable one in the bunch, and it is a shock. But
Not one in the bunch.
But I love them all so dearly.
And fucking nuts. Like, they are nuts.
Nuts.
Like,
this
for
was one of the funniest episodes I've ever seen.
For Ramona to invite everyone to her house, to give Luann the basement, and then to invite Luann as their big trip to a winery.
I love it. You know, the whole Luann in the basement thing, like that's like a trope of Housewives that I love the most. Like, I don't necessarily always need like the big crazy drama of like, you know, some of these shows give us some seasons like Bethany and Carol or something like that. Like, I'm happy if it's just Luann sleeping in the basement and she's pissed about it. Like, that's enough to sustain me.
And those moments are what I feel Beverly Hills is missing. The women are almost too smart. I put in quotes, like they're ahead of it, where they're either like very, very friendly or they're like at a 10 in the other direction. Like, I feel like New York lives in the middle ground a lot, where they'll just be like fucking messes.
Well, and also when when Beverly Hills is having their fun, like when they're drunk and they're silly, I'm not laughing. I'm sort of like, ugh, so annoying. But when the New York ladies or the Atlanta ladies are having literal fun, I am right there with them laughing as if I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
It's so strange.
The New York women also don't seem to care as much like how they come across on camera. Like for the most part, I don't think Ramona even thinks twice about like how the audience is viewing her, or Dorinda or Sonia does not care if she's getting too drunk. Like Luann used to much more than she does now, but and Tinsley does, I guess, a little bit. But for the most part, I think the New York women, like, they don't care if they come across as unlikable or crazy or drunks or anything.
Because they have no self-reflection of their own. So the camera to them is like, yeah, this is who I am.
Dorinda's been a drunk monster for like 3 seasons, and we love her for it, though.
Yes.
And we love her for it.
Now, one of my favorite parts was them all going around the table to get close to each other at the vineyard, like to like show their insecurities or whatever. And
what was that game?
Ramona's like, we need to be close. Tell us something horrible that happened to you.
Like in the middle of the day, in the middle of like a lunch hour.
So, yes, when they were playing that game of just...
Tell me your tragedy.
Yeah, tell me, be vulnerable and tell me what's going on with you. And Dorinda right off the bat said something like, I cry every day of the month or something.
Morning, noon, and night. And then Leah was like, my parents sent me to a nunnery. And then...
Oh, wait. So I wrote down what Dorinda said. She said, I'm scared every day. Everyone wants me to be the anchor of the boat, but I want to be the boat.
I mean, I've honestly felt that, but it's weird to see her so vulnerable, but she's got such an edge. Even when she's like having lighter moments, she's still got an edge. It's a little scary. Like I love Dorinda, but it's not the way I like to see Dorinda.
She's also always got like a catchphrase or like a metaphor or something going on. Like she was talking about the icebergs.
Yeah.
Like I think when Tinsley was saying like she wants kids, Dorinda's like, you're an iceberg. And at the tip of that iceberg, you're blah, blah, blah. And so she's like always metaphoring at all times.
I feel like that iceberg, she didn't come up with that metaphor. It didn't feel natural.
No.
Someone said it to her.
We had a couple lines that I think were powerful this week. You know, this is before we even get to the party. Okay. When Sonia says, I think this was during this lunch, she said, you know, and then you die and I hope, and what is it, Danielle?
You catch some good dick on the way. I mean, the dick's good.
Yeah. Then you
she
die
also
and
said
hope
something about
to catch some good dick on the way.
And that's honestly true. I've never felt anything more in my soul. She also said something about wearing a onesie and we'll all be babies. It was like just thrown in like her rambling. It was like, what did she just say? I rewound it.
It was wild. And then day turns into night and we get to the creepiest party we've ever had in the history of the Housewives.
But before we get to the party, Ramona points out while they're driving there, this made me scream with laughter. She points out another big house and she goes, you know who lives there? He's the guy who invented the lights on kids' sneakers.
And Dorinda was like, wow.
Yeah, he's like, wow.
I was dying.
Oh, wait, and let's not forget that between day and night, Ramona snuck in a date. She sneaks in.
She's always sneaking in a date. She's really catching the dick.
Like for me, a date is the whole day. Like that is your day. Like for her, it's like she can fit 2 or 3 in. I mean, the woman has energy that is incomparable.
So much energy. I also like what she said about Leah. She said, look, different outfits belong in different people. And that floral dress does not belong in the Hamptons. It belongs in Nantucket or Atlanta, Georgia.
I will say that Luann is never not in one of those like Laura Ashley floral dresses. And even when she got arrested, remember, she was in that blue one.
She was in the courthouse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'll never forget that dress. It's up there with Monica Lewinsky's outfit. Like, it is iconic.
It's infamous. Sure.
And speaking of the courthouse, I love when that other car was on their way to the house and they were like, oh, we've all been arrested. And then the editors showed the mugshots.
It was like amazing. They all looked so good in their mugshots.
Yeah.
They all looked
well, maybe not Leah. I mean, Leah's mugshot is a little rough, I thought.
So why did Sonia get arrested again?
Unclear.
Oh, wait.
It was just like
Yeah, I don't know what happened with Sonia.
Hi, Sydney.
You can just say hi real quick.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
What are you guys doing?
We're doing our podcast
Wait,
about
am
the
I on
housewives.
it?
Yes, you're on it.
Yay! Hi everyone, my name's Cindy Besser. Check out Story Pirates.
Okay.
No episodes. Well, not from, but for me too.
She's plugging.
Love you, fans.
She's a pro. She's a pro and a star.
Oh my God. She's a pro and a star. Immediately came in, told us her name and plugged. And then left.
She loves Story
What?
Pirates so much.
What is Story Pirates? I mean, how do we get involved in this?
So she
sold me. What do I
yeah,
gotta do
is
to
she
get
getting
Story Pirates?
something out of this?
No, she gets nothing. She just really likes it and she tries to plug it all the time.
She's
'Cause
like,
she's
hashtag
passionate.
not an ad.
Just like us, start talking about housewives.
Yeah.
She's passionate about something, so she's
You're
spreading
right,
the good
Danny.
word.
She should have a podcast about Story Pirate.
Yeah.
She should. She was, and then it was like, love. What'd she say? Love to all the fans.
Love to all the
To all
fans.
my fans.
Oh my God,
a
heaven.
shock,
She
sorry.
will be a housewife one day.
Oh,
good.
God
She's
willing.
good.
God willing. Or I could be Ramona and she could be my Avery. However it turns out, that's fine. Now, can we talk about the terrifying party?
It was like I saw somebody online tweeted that it felt like a tornado went through that house when all those women left and got through it.
I did like when Leah said it was like an eyes wide shut for old white people.
It was.
I mean, it truly was.
That guy was so gross. I hated that skateboard basement park and the DJ booth that went, I hated his house so much.
He was just clearly trying to sell it, right? Yeah, that's why he was
Maybe.
taking them around to every room.
It was
Yeah, did they? I think they said it was on the market.
Yeah.
Did they? Yeah.
Poor Dorinda. I did feel bad for her when she tried to enter into that and he just wasn't having it. And she was like, I have an old Stanford White House, so I appreciate woodwork. It's like,
He was
oh,
like, I don't
Dorinda.
Dorinda also kept saying they don't do this in London. She was just a native
Yes.
Londoner. She just kept
Well,
talking about
that's
it.
why she was mad, though. I think because he didn't totally try to bring her in or something. Although it did make me laugh when Ramona was like, "You're gonna keep me captive in here." He looked so shocked. He goes, "What? Do I want to keep you captive?" He was like, "No."
Watching Ramona flirt is like watching an animal wear clothes. It's
So
so
aggressive.
uncomfortable. It so doesn't feel right. It's so just oh, this is a wrong feeling. And she does it with such ease to herself, but it looks and feels wrong.
And no shame in front of whoever's around her. She could be surrounded by other people and just fully 100% committing to the flirt.
Also, when she said about Sonia, this made me mad when she was like, I have to bring myself down for Sonia. I was like, how dare you?
How dare you? Sonia's on such a higher, emotional, spiritual, kind of zest for life plane than Ramona is.
That made me angry.
Shocking.
You guys, I this might be controversial,
Uh-oh.
but I did sort of understand how Ramona was a little bit embarrassed by everyone else because they were nuts. Sonia was drunk, so drunk. And so, I understood why Ramona was, a little bit ashamed of these people because they're all fucking messes.
But at the same time, Ramona's such a goddamn mess. Don't forget that she went to someone's party last year and took whole lobsters home with her in a bag. We're not,
that moment.
we can't
Speaking
pretend.
of, I totally forgot Barb wasn't with us until 2 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah. Barb is R.I.P., but nobody cares.
Barb-
She's
I never want to
she's
think of her
staining
again.
a couch somewhere with her self-tanner.
Or she's staining a piece of wood somewhere, building or whatever.
That's
You know,
true.
she's active.
She's a Barb of many trades.
She is a Barb of many trades.
I totally hear what you're saying about Ramona. I guess it's just that I have such a love for Sonia that I don't see it clearly. Because if I just was tuning into this, I'd be like, who the fuck is this drunk woman screaming at the top of her lungs? The
I wish-
party's
She was
not over.
shouting.
You're over.
She said two mean things though. Sonia goes about Leah. She goes, she's a beauty, but she looks rough on the edges. That's a tough
She
thing.
goes, she's
I mean-
classy, but she doesn't look classy.
And then
Sonia was being mean and crazy, but we love her because she's just so lovable.
Yeah.
But she was shouting, and I quote, I don't shave my pussy. I'm not arm candy. I don't shave my pussy. She was shouting at this party.
That was a tough quote.
she was shouting craziest things. She was like, sit with your rich friend with the diamond bracelet. It was just
With the diamond bracelet. I will
She
say,
said, I have more money in the bank than anyone.
What also?
Here's the
Yeah.
thing. I think Sonia is so triggered. I felt bad for her. And if I may, I think she just feels so much anger when she bumps up against like rich people or people who haven't, have kind of kept their fortune over the years. And she's made so much of her life. And like when she was like, I live in an 1,100 square foot place. And I just think she's had to do such a big adjustment for her life. And obviously she still has a lot, but I do feel there's like such a sadness there. And so she has to cover with this kind of disdain for fancy people. And it makes me a bit sad.
Yeah.
I think we can also see Sonia's got a good heart too. So I think that's why we always warn, no matter what she does or says, it's like it's usually because she's drunk or been drinking too much. But deep down, I truly believe, and I feel that way about Dorinda too, by the way. I think Dorinda's going to have a really rough season, and she's clearly the villain, and she's very aggressive with people and all of that. But I do think those two at least like have a good heart. Like I'm not sold on like Ramona's core, but I love watching her.
No, I'm not sold either.
Ramona doesn't have a core. She is liquid in the center.
Like Shannon on Orange County House. I don't have a core. When she was shouting.
Guys, let's take a quick break and come back with New York.
Please.
We're back.
I just love New York. Wasn't it just like a boost of serotonin, though, watching this episode? It was just so much fun.
And even
so much fun.
The end, like when it was just showing us scenes from next time and someone shot, like what they do to Ramona's house. And then all we do is a parting shot where someone says, there's a vibrator in the chicken.
I mean, that preview for next week, Emmy worthy. Like that preview just looks phenomenal.
It's my house. It's my house.
There were just tiki torches just like strewn about.
Leah nude with those tiki torches, like an episode of fucking Survivor. I mean, it was crazy. I can't wait.
Leah, it does really make me laugh that she was like, I won't be drinking at all. And then immediately, and next thing we know, naked
second
tiki
episode
torches.
in, she's where are what do these women do to people?
I'm feeling thrilled about Leah. Like, I think she's an exciting addition.
Thrilled.
Agree.
And I don't think any of us expected it, right? Like, obviously we can't replace Bethany, but it was just, I don't know. I didn't anticipate like this woman, Leah, coming in and being such a weird, good fit for these women.
And I didn't hear anything sort of about her beforehand. I feel like a lot of times we'll be sort of hearing about a housewife beforehand, like, ooh, we got a firecracker, or we got this person, and Leah came in sort of quietly. Like I hadn't heard any, hubbub about her.
Yeah, Leah's a sleeper hit. And I will say, watching her bucket hat, her net bucket hat in flashback, I warmed up to it a little bit.
Really?
Wow. I had a week to sit with it, and then seeing it again, it was like, oh, right, there's Leah in that bucket hat.
I felt this week when I got
it.
This week I felt when we got closer, it felt too small. Felt it should have been larger.
Yeah.
Real quickly, before we move on, I was shocked that Sonia just woke up the next day and seemed fine.
Because she is built like a Mack truck. Like she can take the hits and keep coming.
Like shocking.
Shocking. And then the best was when Dorinda woke up Ramona and was like, there's a very bad text you need to read. This will upset you terribly.
Such a
I couldn't believe that Ramona just nicely texted back Luann. Like that was shocking.
A shocking text back. That was so on Ramona. That will
so
not
on Ramona.
It was like I was watching a different show or human. I was like, who is this person?
Is she being side coached to just act friendly no matter what happens?
But also, it seems as if they're still at Ramona's house next week. We have been at Ramona's house for 3 weeks now.
I'm liking the Hamptons, guys. The Berkshires for me always feels very sad.
Claustrophobic, and we're always there in the winter, but we have a summertime here, and that's
nice. It feels nice.
Yeah, I like when they switch our seasons on us, because it's like we'll spend a few seasons where it's Christmas, and I'm happy that we're in the summertime. I like when we see the tennis a little bit.
I'm also glad we're not at Bethany's Hamptons house. I never liked her Hamptons house with that whole like bar in the back. I'm glad we're at a different Hamptons house.
Also, Luann's text at the end of it just said, "Good night from the lower level."
Good night from the lower
That's the end of the text.
level.
Good night from the lower level.
I love
Put that on a tea towel and sell it at Home Goods.
They'll be calling, Danny. They'll be calling. Yeah, I think we've got a great season. I'm so excited for more.
Should we move on to
They're just
Atlanta?
fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are you making of Atlanta, Danny?
I was really racking my brain. I've been thinking about this a lot lately because I always love Atlanta and I think the season's been good. But the past few weeks, I've been feeling like it's a lot of filler. And what I came to was that I think that Atlanta has been taking a lot of weeks off. So we've been getting like a kind of blah episode and then they take a week off and then another blah episode. And that makes it feel like the whole season's been shitty. And so I'm not sure, but I didn't like this week's episode. I thought it was kind of eh.
Why are they taking so many weeks off? You mean like
for holidays or whatnot? Like...
Well, I think it's holidays. And then I also think, and I could be wrong, maybe someone from Bravo knows, but I feel like they did also try to stretch it because they were hopeful that they could do the reunion. And they didn't know exactly like when all this coronavirus, what would be happening with it. So I could be wrong, but I think they might have tried to stretch the weeks a little bit.
Wow. Tried to stretch the weeks. Huh?
I have to say, yeah. I mean, I get sad in Atlanta recently with the Candy and Todd stuff. I don't like that sort of mother guilt gives me anxiety just because I feel it. And I don't like how Todd's sort of like, you got to choose your family and stuff. And it's like she said it like through tears, like I am taking care of so many people right now. Like that's not an option for me. And I felt her pain with that. And
Todd should know that. That's who Candy is.
Yeah.
Todd should be aware of this person. So the fact that he's doing this mom guilt is just truly disgusting to me. It's like, enough.
And it's also like, you want to throw a baby shower with a red carpet and the media here. And then he's like, I'm cheap. It's like, Todd, you have all these big ideas. Many of them have not worked out. Let's just remember that. They cost a lot. And then you make Candy feel bad when she works a lot to like pay for these ideas.
Exactly.
And I feel like Todd does a lot of these things that he needs Candy for, or Candy's family, like the OLG or whatever. And then Candy's trying to do a business on her own. Like Candy doesn't need Todd for her role on The Chi. Mm-mm. And Todd needs Candy for the trucking company or whatever.
He needs her for
those
every
things
single
are.
business. And guess what? You don't need a fucking trucking company. Run your restaurants.
Right. Do the restaurants. And so like Candy's trying to do one side project on her own. And then Todd is like giving her a hard time. But then he's starting all these other projects where he can't do them without Candy.
No. 100%. And I think also when he was setting all that up and then Candy in her testimony was like, well, I was worried about it, but I realized Don Juan was there. He'll take care of any mistakes. I was like, Don Juan is the fucking backbone of all of these businesses. It's not Todd.
No, it is Don Juan.
I love Don Juan.
Oh, me too.
I do too.
Because I like him because he's a good businessman. He is so tried and true to Candy. Like he is.
They're partners
I trust
in
him
every
with,
single sense.
I trust him with her life. Yep. And he also gives great shade. He is hilarious. So love him. Now, the stuff with Kenya made me very sad. Kenya and Mark.
A lot of the stuff with Kenya is, it's very sad. Kenya's stuff is sad. And then when she was going through the closet, it felt like weirdly set up to me because there was so many tags on those clothes. And I thought, like, did she ship in these clothes to like do this scene? I don't know. It was like,
she ran to Home
overthinking.
Goods.
I think she bought him a lot of clothes for him to come home to. You know what I mean? Like, I thought she was like, we're going to make home here. I don't know how much he moved in there, but I think she was like, I'm going to buy him these clothes. Like, I think she had a dream and she was shopping for her dream.
What was his excuse for not letting her interact with his family?
I don't know.
He's just an asshole. He's like a controlling asshole. And I think he wants to control Kenya's relation. He wants to just control Kenya, I think, in general, but particularly her relationships with other people. And I think that's why possibly last season he didn't want her to film, or there's been like talk in the past about how he didn't want Kenya on the show and stuff like that. And I think he just wants to control her.
Well,
just an asshole.
He was the worst.
Asshole. I like this Candy Kenya friendship. I'm like, did I miss the thread? When did they become this close? But I like it. And when they're like crying together and Kenya has her hand on Candy's shoe and helping her, I thought this is a nice.
Yeah.
They did not used to feel this way about each other.
No.
It's what happens on these housewives shows, right? After so long where they're just like, okay, we should just be like friends now because we haven't tried that yet.
Yeah, let's try this combination.
You know what? I'm going to try
we haven't done that
I haven't
yet.
had the duck yet. I'm going to try it, you know?
I have to mention something very important that I'm not sure everyone caught, but have you guys noticed on Atlanta, they've been doing a lot of interesting transitional music.
Oh my God, I wrote it down. I said the music, they are really taking it up a notch just for Atlanta.
Wait, do you know how much of a notch they kicked it up?
How much?
There was the song, one of the transitional songs was Nene's song.
Her new song?
She's got a new song,
Oh.
which I meant to like look up and listen to before we started doing this. But there's
I've heard
Nene
it.
came. Yeah, it's
It's
wait,
called
so
Honey.
Is it like
I
a
think
rap
it's called
song?
Honey, Hunni. But I don't know. I know
It's hard
she's-
to categorize it, Danny.
So how is this working now? Are they paying Nene for that song? Like, what's
Or
I
is
need to
it
know
like,
the
we
business
will
structure.
play your song?
Yeah, like I scratch your back, you scratch mine type of deal.
I
Wow,
couldn't
that
believe
is
it.
huge. I did not notice that.
I rewound it a few times because I was like, this sounds familiar. You know, when you do the. There's been times on these shows where I've rewound it like 10 fucking times to like catch something. And it's like, what are we doing here? These shows are so stupid.
Well,
We've seen
imagine like, don't we all have this in common? Like you're watching something that is so dumb and then you're like frantically taking notes. I'm in school. I'm like, I didn't catch that.
And then rewinding it like 5 times to watch it over and over
So
again.
weird. What
And
we're
my
doing.
boyfriend comes in the room and he's like, what's going on? And I have to explain like Sonia yelling, like, I don't shave my pussy.
Or like my husband will
He's
come
like, "What is
in
that?"
and I'm like, shush, shush, like, quiet,
Get out.
shut your goddamn mouth. I'm trying
And
to
it's like I've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these, but if I miss 2 seconds, it's like, are you serious right now? Please.
Because everything happens so fast on these shows. You miss 2 seconds. You miss Nene's first performance of her song as the transition.
Yeah. You miss
Turn your
her
head for
as a
1 second.
musician.
You know, speaking of Nene, the scariest moment of the entire show was watching Greg Leakes walk up those stairs. I was
Danielle,
so
how dare you.
nervous.
Greg Leakes is giving me a lot of Ken Todd vibes this season.
Yes.
A lot of lurking.
A lot of silk
He's-
pajamas.
But like, he is not well. I mean, he's on the mend, but still to walk up those huge, dense stairs. Like I was like, this is not okay. And then
that house looks like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like it's so oversized. I feel like everything is like a huge chair that's like 20 feet tall, like all the furniture. Like it's just a McMansion.
Yeah.
And Greg doesn't know how a lot of it works. There was one scene earlier this season where the doorbell rang and he's like, what's that? And I was like, the doorbell, Greg. It's your house. Shouldn't you know that?
Greg,
He's like, well, we just showed up this morning for filming, so no, I
feel
don't
like
know it.
She has kept him in like a guest bungalow in the back to like recover. And he
Somebody posted online, there's like one of those Instagram lives that Nene did where Greg is like behind her and like Nene's moving, but Greg's just like sitting still. So he literally looks like he's not with us. His eyes are open, but it's like the scariest thing because Nene's moving and Greg's just like, I don't know, looks like fucking Weekend at Bernie's behind him.
I found another scary moment with Nene was when we were at Swag and she breezed in and saw a young employee wearing some just apparel from the shop. And she's like, did you pay for that? She's like, I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
That was
Gotta
tough.
check on the customers.
That was tough.
We also had Portia and Dennis and their wedding talk, which I was like, you give this woman anything she wants at this point. How dare you not like move in with her? Like, if you wanted her back, you have to come back. Like, it made me so angry.
I love Portia so much, and I just don't like anyone. I don't like the way Dennis is. I want her to move on and just find like a guy that treats her well, like the queen that she is. And I just hate even seeing Dennis on screen next to her.
He's such a little nothing, and she's such a queen.
It did make me laugh when she was just taking all those cookies as quick as she could and like putting the cookies in the bag. And then she yelled, no cookies for you, you hot dog man.
I love her so much.
I do too.
Can we talk about 2 things regarding Cynthia? Number one, she's choosing to stay in Atlanta to be on the show instead of like being with her family. Like her family, she even admitted like Noelle's in LA with Mike.
But seems like she can't come out and just admit that. She's like, I need to be here. It's like
So bizarre.
Yeah, we're watching the reason why. You can
But
say
she
it.
just reopened. She just opened the Bailey wine cellar there, which Mel is running, which is a mistake.
Okay, but the Bailey Wine Center, you know, when you go to like an outdoor concert or like a concert, you know, and they do those installations where it's like an Instagram installation or like something with a photo booth. That's what the Bailey Wine Center feels like to me. It feels like a concert installation. It doesn't feel like a real. It feels like somebody
Like
just
it's a
it was a
pop-up.
pop-up. Yeah.
Like just a panel they put up with like wood and it's just one
And
step
that one
repeat.
headshot of Cynthia in a frame, and then that's it.
I mean, I love how Cynthia sat down with Mel and was like, what's new in your life? Like, how's work going? And then we come to find out Mel is running her business.
I know. Now, do
Mel's
you
doing the
think it's the
Lord's
same
Mel.
space that the Bailey agency used to be in?
Oh, is the Bailey agency still around?
I can't imagine that it is, but do you think it's the same location? Like, is she just renting
Probably.
the same?
Probably. And what happened to Bar 1 or whatever that was? Bar 11? What number was it?
I think it
One.
sunk. It sunk her
Okay.
and Peter. I believe it
Yeah, it went under.
went under.
No,
Bar none.
Cynthia also said Noelle is not going to school. She's living with Mike, and Cynthia said, and I quote, she's going to be an actor in the Salt and Pepper documentary. And I thought, well, if it's documentary, I'm confused. Like, what's Noelle's role?
Mockumentary?
Or that sort of like when they sort of do it, like it's their life story or whatever, but it's not played by them. It's like
They
actors
flash
doing
back.
it. Yeah, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I need
These
to
are the-
see this.
We need to watch that.
I
Yeah.
would watch that. Guess what? I would watch that in a second.
Yeah.
I mean, Eva is my Teddy.
Yeah, I don't,
She's not
I don't get
as
it.
bad, but she gives me absolutely nothing.
The only time she's fun is when her and Marlo are fighting and Eva gets angry and comes out with some great one-liners. But otherwise, unless when she's
And when was the last time that happened? That only happened like
in Japan,
one or two times. So
I
I
feel
feel
like it happened in Japan, and that was it.
the idea that Eva has a peach and Marlo doesn't is just insane to me. Like, Marlo's been giving us everything, and Marlo's finally giving us layers too. We're seeing like that softer side of Marlo, and she was getting emotional, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. So
I feel like
don't
Marlo was
understand.
just like, fuck it, I'll cry. What can I do here? Even though, no, it was very genuine.
She deserves
Yeah.
a peach. She does.
I don't get Eva. I want to like her too. It's just, I don't know. Even Cynthia, when she showed up at her house, she's like, you need to not be pregnant anymore. And it's like,
Yes.
basically she was saying you need to get in the mix with us.
Yeah.
I mean,
agree.
I hope everyone knows I would never shame a woman for being pregnant, but I've said it before. I think I don't love my housewives pregnant. And if they've just given birth, like, I think the ones that are handling it best are like Kenya and Portia. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't need to hear too much about it. But I feel
No.
like Eva is so always ensconced in this like world at home. And I'm like, please, I want to see my housewives out and about. I have
Eva's
kids.
always,
I
like,
live that
sitting.
life. I want
Yeah.
wish fulfillment.
Eva's always sitting. I can't have my housewife sitting.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
she's like,
I don't know if she'll be back. Do you think she'll be back next season?
I
I
don't
can't
think
imagine.
No,
I don't think so either.
no, we're done with her.
she's like
But it was a
Robin
filler.
from Potomac, just very tired, very low vibrations.
I do really love, though, on Potomac when she's always sleepy. Like, I don't know.
Oh, I
like,
love
the only
it.
time that works is like how she's just always like taking a nap. Like, wake
Oh my
up,
God.
look alive.
I was on a Zoom today, and I know crazier things have happened on a Zoom, but it was like with my son's school and parents. And one of the dads, there was only like 7 of us, who was just sleeping. I was like, wow. Huh.
We did
Just
a Zoom
asleep.
birthday party for one of my daughter's friends today, and we were on for 2 minutes, and it's just 6-year-olds staring at each other. I was like, this is
So creepy.
insane. None of them
The
knew what
Zooms
to
are
say.
weird. The Zooms are weird. I did a bachelorette party. Like, my best friend, we like threw her a Zoom bachelorette party, but there was like way too many people. It was just very sad.
Yeah, you need to do like breakout rooms almost for that.
And then trying, like, one of the girls was like, let's play a game. And it was like trying to play like a bachelorette party game on Zoom. It's not happening.
No.
It's just not happening.
Your poor friend.
It was a real rough moment in all of our lives.
Guys, should we take another break? And
Yes.
and unless anyone has anything else.
I'm ready
No.
to move on to Vanderpump.
And I don't mean to lead us here. I mean, Danny, you
No, I'm
you
ready to just
lead us.
unload on. I'm ready to unload on Vanderpump. So let's take a break, and then we'll come back and do that. Okay, Vanderpump time.
Yay!
This was a real low point, and I said a couple weeks ago that I thought that funeral for the lizard was a real low point. But to me, this was truly 100%. And I've thought about it a lot over the past few days. The worst episode they've ever produced on this show. I
Agree.
believe.
Agree.
To see this terrible wedding, second wedding for these two people that should not be married. I don't give a fuck about their wedding for these two hateful people and all these old men and women who think they're 20 years old still. Like, I just can't with these people anymore.
Every single moment of this felt overproduced. Even
Yep.
from the people they invited to this wedding, I was thinking, I don't feel as a viewer I've been led to believe that Max is good friends with these people.
No.
I
Why
kept
is he
writing,
there?
why is Max there and not Kristen? At least bring Kristen so I can have some fucking drama.
Right. The fact that they didn't bring Kristen on a cast trip to Vegas is like insanity to me.
Insane.
Like producers should have stepped in and said, hey, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, we need Kristen. I don't care if you guys aren't getting along. Like,
It doesn't
she's the one that stirs the pot.
matter.
Again, that's the like first rule of Housewives. I don't care if you're not getting along. You'll be there. And I feel like Vanderpump feels like they're too good for that. Like they
And
don't
also, guess
subscribe
what?
to
You know
that.
who else needs to be there? Sheena Shea.
Sheena Shea. You guys, I've been yelling justice for Sheena this whole season because it's truly embarrassing how they treat her on that show, like how they edit her and everything. And then this was a week where she's doing this major egg retrieval surgery. And they literally like did not show us any of it. Instead, we got that whole fucking bra subplot with
Ugh,
Lisa
so
Vanderpump's bra.
stupid. It made me
So
that made
fucking
me
produced.
angry.
Oh, I hated
Also,
it.
you know-
hated it.
You know what's produced? This Bo and Stassi engagement bullshit we're gonna have to sit through. Oh my god!
We're
I don't
also
care.
fucking sick of the weddings. I'm sick of
Done.
all the weddings on the show. And the bra thing really like made me livid.
Me
because
too.
first of all, the fact that Caesar's Palace would mix up Lisa Vanderpump's luggage. I'm sure she has beautiful Chanel luggage or whatever, some designer luggage. And I'm sure Schwartz does not.
I'm
So
sure
I don't
Schwartz
even
is like held together with duct tape like mine.
Do you remember on the original Jersey Shore when Angelina didn't have a suitcase? She just had a trash bag.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it.
It was a great moment in time.
And Lisa
so-
is yes. You're continue, Danny. Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Lisa is crazy. Like,
I will
like
say-
Lisa and I want to love Lisa, but when she does stunts like this that are so overly produced, it's like, come on.
Also
She's
another-
in it too much.
And also, watching Ken having to use a chair to prop him up was another sad moment. He literally had to lean on a chair and it propped him up.
Well, he's
Yeah.
an older man, Danielle.
He's an old man.
I
But
feel like
then
you're
let
really
him
knocking.
rest.
You're like Greg
I'm
trying to
saying
get up those
let
stairs.
them rest. Let them rest.
Let him go to sleep. Let him not be on camera. But I also sort of feel bad that like every season Ken has to sit around while Lisa makes all of these young men flirt with her. And like, that's weird that she's designing this plot where she's leaving the bra in her coworker or her employee. I don't know like what exactly you can classify the relationship, but he's a straight man. You're both married. And it's like, you're thinking it's cute to like leave your bra. And then also I was like kind of thinking when he was opening the suitcase and saw the bra, I was thinking like, what if he did actually cheat? Because he did cheat in the past.
Yep, me too.
And then like, what if he did cheat and then he admitted and then it like ruined their marriage because Lisa was doing this like funny bit on the show.
And then he was like pretending to be into the bra. And then the worst part was when Max was FaceTiming to just so we could see the bra. I'm like, this is terrible. Lisa's too involved. You said it last week, Danielle, but she has time on her hands. She's not in Beverly Hills. And so they're using her too much. When they were like, come zip line, Lisa, I was like, guys, Lisa's not going zip lining.
And there she was.
There she was.
Right on that zip line. And then with that phone call and the FaceTime, it just felt so weird. Like, she's like, oh, I got to call him to see if he bought the liquor for the thing. And then they do it. And she's like, who's in your
Yeah,
bed?
that
And it was
girl-
like none of them are good enough actors
No.
to make me believe it.
Max is a piece of wood.
And I don't care about any of the new people. Danica, even though she does have a few restraining orders, like, let's hear more about that. But
Let's
at
hear
the
more about
same
that.
time, like, what's Dana and the other girl with
Dana's distasteful when she was like, she's got a fat pussy, PHAT. It's a fat pussy. And like, I say that in a nice way, like, she's got a fat pussy. I was like, you're disgusting.
That was cringy. Like, I felt like that was just a bit that just did not work at all.
She's one of those
so
girls that's like, yeah,
uncomfortable.
I'm fucking dirty. Like, yeah, I'm gross. Like, I say it. I go there. It's like, you're disgusting.
No.
I sort of think like some of the new people would have worked if we were on two separate shows, but it's like the way that this is edited or produced or something. And I worship the editors and the producers. Like, they do such a great job. But this season, I don't understand this like mix of these new people with the old people and someone like Charlie, who sometimes gives us like an interesting, funny soundbite and seems like she could be good. Or Danica, like you said, there's fun things, but it just isn't working. Like, it's not cohesive. It feels weird that they're even around these other people.
No,
yeah,
I'm
it's like,
not-
you guys are not friends. It's so boring.
Yeah, this has been a
Lala's
really
not
tough
even
season.
like, no one's bringing me anything.
Lala and
Ariana,
Randall.
just boring.
Brittany said, though, when they got to Vegas, they were like, "Oh, Max, you're part of the crew now," and Brittany's like, "We gotta get him fucked up," and they're shouting.
Oh.
I was hopeful
you feel,
that we.
guys, is it just me? I feel like the way Jax was looking at Brittany when they were in their hotel room was like, oh, he's turned.
Wait,
He's
say that
turning
again?
on her. I think Jax is starting to turn on Brittany just
This
a little
is
bit.
not-
It's like all the fun's over. Jax isn't in the spotlight anymore. And now he's like, wait a minute.
When this baby comes,
Are they pregnant?
no, but they
Oh.
will be.
They will be. Don't you guys feel like Jax is playing the role of like 1999 sitcom dad or husband? Like I said this on my show last week. I feel like he watched a lot of episodes of According to Jim and is like, I'm going to be that guy. Because he's always talking about like mowing the lawn and like barbecuing and like filling that role. But it just feels like he's trying to do it.
Yeah, and she's
gonna
spending so
happen?
much money.
You guys, what is going to happen when they are off this show?
I don't know
What
how
is-
this show's going to keep going on.
It can't. And so let's give this show. at
Does
least
it
if
have a
this
lot of
has-
viewers?
Yeah, the ratings are good. They're going down, I think.
But it's-
the ratings are still pretty good. So we're still going to get, I think, like a few more seasons just because the ratings.
Yeah, we'll probably get
people
like
are
9 more.
No.
Just like 9
No
or so more.
It's like 9 or so.
No
I think I would find it comforting to go back. I've been trying to go back through the seasons because Danielle and I watched it on like a dare as quick as we could over like a 5-day frenzy that was like a hallucination.
Yeah.
I think I would like to go back and really spend some time with the earlier work of art.
The earlier seasons are Shakespearean, like season 2, season 3, like there's no better reality TV. It's crazy. There's like, so it feels like real drama. And especially if you go back and you see how good it was, it just feels so sad to know where we're at now. Cause now it feels very overproduced.
And to feel like Stassi's in just like a nice normal relationship. Like that's not what I want to watch.
No, I don't
No,
need
thank
healthy.
you.
I don't need healthy people doing healthy things. That's not for me.
Yeah, I don't know where they go from here. It just feels like I can't imagine what they do next season to fix it because it just feels so off the rails. And one of the problems, which I think at an earlier time was a benefit, is that all these people are really the OGs or the people who've been on from the beginning. They're all really friends, and I don't know how you just get rid of like 2 of them or 3 of them because they've all sort of bandied together, and I think that is bad for the show now because I think we do need to get a fresher show. But it's like almost like they're afraid to get rid of people.
Lala and James came in organically.
But how do they get rid of people? We have 19 people, so like how do we get rid of like
We have
Jax
19
and
white
Brittany?
people.
Yes.
Right. Where are the gay people? Where are the people of color? It's like
I feel like they're in this weird world where they're just like these are the only people that exist and they all live in the same house in the valley.
They sort of do.
But it's a
very
large
odd.
cast. Like no TV show should be 18 cast members
How
or 19.
much do you
I think
think
they have
they're
19.
making like the Sandoval of it all?
I would imagine the original people are making really good money.
Like what?
But I don't know. Well, I think season 1, season 2, they were making like 15 grand or something low.
Okay, so
for
they're
the
probably
whole
making
season.
like
For the
50
whole
grand.
season, they made 50 grand. Or like 15
No, but for the whole season, they made like 15K, I think. I hope I'm not making that up. Somebody could Google it.
No, I
We're
think
not
that's
fact
right.
checkers here.
No.
It was low.
I'm
It was
just curious,
low.
are they making like 50 or are they making 75? Oh well.
No, I think it's well over 100, I think.
An episode?
I would not an episode. I don't know.
Okay.
I think they're on different contracts. I don't
I'd
know
love
this
to get
factually.
some numbers. I'd love some numbers.
Yeah, if anyone
anybody
has some
them.
numbers, let us know.
Please.
But I think they are on different contracts now where people aren't appearing in episodes and they're not getting paid for those episodes.
Oh,
So
wow.
like sometimes we don't see Kristen. Whereas I think before they would get paid for the whole season no matter if they were in the
I
episode.
know
Well, like-
Sheena took a demotion in pay this year.
and
you're
she's
right.
working the
Justice for
hardest.
Sheena. She's doing everything.
And she's the only bridge with the other people. Like
Yes.
she's the only one actually
For
sitting in scenes
Sheena
with,
not
like,
to
Dana and
get
stuff.
to not be paid more than Katie, that's disgusting.
You're right. Sheena's straddling.
I feel so bad for Sheena. I just want everything for her.
I know.
I really feel bad for her. I'm
But
like,
guess
she's
what?
giving
If
us
she
the
got
show.
everything, she'd destroy it. She doesn't know how to handle it. No.
And then that whole thing with like Sheena's doppelganger was weird, and it felt like they were trying to set up the spinoff or something.
Yes, that's
like
what I felt too. I was like, is this a Vegas spinoff? Is this what we're getting right now?
That girl.
It was weird.
Yeah, I didn't.
And wait, did you guys notice that weird commercial in the middle of the episode that was like, but it wasn't for anything. It was like a fast fashion website that they were talking about. It was Dana and Danica. And they kept saying like fast fashion. Was that like a...
No.
I don't even remember.
I don't think
Oh,
so.
when they were doing those clothing, and she was like, this would be good to wear to a comedy show.
What
That
Danica
thing?
was wearing with that silver chain and those bike shorts, like that trickle down Kim Kardashian nonsense.
Nope.
I don't
Maybe
know.
you're right, Danny. Maybe that was an ad.
It felt like very addy to me. It also didn't even feel like those two like each other. So like, why are they in a scene
Nobody
together?
likes
And then
each other. I don't feel any real friendship or romance. Like, even Dana with that other chiseled weird guy, like, I don't feel any chemistry there. Like, that's not a real thing.
Danica's a dark figure.
Yeah. She's the only
Yeah,
one I
when
have
she-
some
When she
interest
did
in.
the blowing and the breathalyzer thing, that was just like very dark to me. Like that felt like it was supposed to be funny, but I didn't think it just felt
It's
like eerie to
horrible,
me.
yeah.
It was like they were presenting it to us like it was a funny joke, and I was like, this isn't funny.
No,
Yeah, because when I put the pieces together with Danica of just what we've seen, it's like, hey, we've seen her blow into the breathalyzer. You know, we've seen her just casually say, like, you know, Pisces doesn't work with, like, whatever she said, Aquarius or something. She's like, Pisces doesn't work. I should know. I dated two of them. They both have restraining orders against me. Okay. And then we saw her like slap someone at Sir. So it's like, ooh,
Very dark side.
I'd like to hear more.
Yeah, I'd really like to
I feel
drill
like the
down.
producers are like, we actually can't go there. It's so
Like,
dark.
legally, we can't.
Maybe we need to focus on her next season. Though,
Yes,
now that
please.
you're talking about it,
Give
like,
us
maybe I
more
like-
Danica.
There's more
You know,
Danica, and she's so
the other-
distasteful.
The other dark moment of the episode was when Raquel was talking about sex with James
Oh.
being sober. James's sobriety turns me on, and it was like so felt sad to me.
She's also
was
scared of him because
devastating.
you could say when she was like, I mean, because sex beforehand, not that he wasn't good before, he's really good. Like, she looked terrified that she had let the cat out of the bag in some
But
weird
then
way.
she's so dim that she further said worse. She's like, I shouldn't say. She's like, but sometimes you can't get it out.
God, it was such a, and that was the same scene where it was like the fat pussy talk.
Oh.
I was like, what is this scene? Like, what is going on here? Also, they were in Vegas, and I'm thinking like they must have gone out that night and gotten drunk. So like, why didn't we see any of it? I'm sure that they went out and got drunk. So why did we just sort of like we saw the zip lining stuff, we saw the bra in the suitcase, but then we didn't see any debauchery in Vegas? Like that was such a weird choice.
Because I don't think they had any, and they had us stuck at the same bar because it was all a big fucking ad for Caesar's Palace and Lisa's business. I'm like,
Yeah.
Lisa, we're watching your business. Your show is called Vanderpump Rules. We're here. We don't need to also like hawk your presidential suite and like
that sweet stuff.
your
when
new
she was
restaurants.
when we had to listen to her talk about what the suite would look like, I was furious. I was mad at Bravo at that point. I was like,
Yeah.
what are we doing
Yeah.
here? This is
The
not
whole episode,
what
I
I'm
felt
here.
very mad. Like, I love this show, and it's been so good in the past. And so to have an episode like that, I'm like, this is just, I felt awful. This was the first time I actively wanted to, like, turn the channel while I was watching. I was like, I'm not even enjoying
Yeah,
it.
I was bored.
I
And
felt
that's-
that too.
Guys.
How do they fix it? I don't think they fixed it. You guys saw that article with Kate Arthur wrote
Yes.
in Variety.
Yes.
It was so spot on. I thought, I don't know.
Well, see, guys, look, we've said shows are dead before, and then they rise like a phoenix from the ashes. And so we didn't know how we'd be without Bethany, and look at us, we have Leah. So
True.
we don't know what's to say, but I will.
I'm
say,
worried about OC. I'm just like, I feel like it's done personally. I
Well,
want it.
and
to be
Dallas, I believe, is done. Yes.
Yeah, Dallas and Orange County, I think.
I think when they let go of Vicky, they should have just shut the show down. Like that was the time to do it. To just say, like, you know what, our OG, the first show we had, it would be like ending something not on a high, but like it's like our first show is done and we're actually going to retire it because without Vicky, what do we have? That would have been like classy
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like we choose
for
when to
these
end it.
shows.
That would have been classy.
Would have been gorgeous.
But it was also, 13 seasons? You're right. It would have been like, let's go out on a little bit of a high and then not be embarrassing. I don't know.
Our producer Dana is giving us some info. She says Lisa Vanderpump makes $500,000 per season. Okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
I have some stats for you guys.
Okay, we're ready to hear him.
Yeah, about the salaries of the Vanderpump cast from a very reputable source, aka womenshealthmagazine.com.
Great.
We'll
take
Great.
So Lisa Vanderpump, obviously, but truly still insane. She's paid $500,000
An episode per
sorry,
episode?
per season. Per season.
She's making like Friends money.
I was
at
going to
that.
say, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, no, so $500,000 per season, which is still a lot.
A ton of money.
And her and Ken are like listed as EPs on the show, so maybe like that they're getting more for that. But then the other cast members, Jax is the highest paid cast member, and he makes $25,000 per episode, which is.
So then they normally do like 24 a season, I think, with the reunions. Yeah.
And then let's see. So then following Jax, Stassi and Kristen each take home $15K per episode. Who else? Scrolling. Oh my God. Then apparently in some lawsuit, Tom Sandoval was only paid like $1,400 per episodes in seasons 1 and 2, but now he's making like $5K.
What about
But
Sheena Shea?
Yeah, what's
And
Sheena's?
what about Schwartz? Wait, Tom Sandoval only makes $5K an episode?
I feel like he makes more.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he makes more.
supposedly the lowest paid cast member is Sheena. They
How
don't
dare they?
Oh, damn.
say how much.
Oh,
wait,
no. She pays to be on, probably.
wait. So it says, okay, so she makes $10K per episode, and then like Lala, Brittany, and Katie, they like don't have info on them. But supposedly Sheena makes the least amount.
How dare
Wow.
How dare.
But then, so then they said, how much will new cast members make? Talking about Brett and Charlie and Danica and Dana and Max. And then they're just being like,
After we've paid for the lawsuits of their racist tweets.
Yeah, exactly. They don't like list it. But this is all from like January 2020, so it's like relatively
Look,
fresh.
I'll take even if it was from
10 years ago.
10
We're
years
fine.
ago.
It's still crazy.
Thank you,
though.
Dana.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Guys, I want to go back to Dorit for 1 second because I'm starting to feel really bad
About.
that she was
About what?
upset. I just don't like upsetting anyone, and it's
No,
going to
neither
like
do I.
stay with me tonight.
It felt
Because
like
I actually like Dorit.
No, Casey, I watched it. It was off the cuff. Like she didn't seem upset. She
Okay.
just kind of like, yeah, I wouldn't be worried about it.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
If anyone knows her,
And it was more about Brian, who I love dearly. But
Great.
It was more.
great. Okay, perfect. I love Brian so much.
I think she said something along the lines of, like somebody went on a podcast and just.
Oh, they
said-
mentioned
give
our
us a name
podcast.
I know, right?
Podcast.
Oh, man.
Could have been any podcast. Wow.
Sorry to go back there, guys. That just has been kind of sitting with me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You know, before we wrap up, are you guys watching Summer House yet? I think I heard on the show last week you might dive in.
So I've only seen a couple episodes. What do you got? Just tell everyone's so invested.
I just
our
love it.
listeners.
I love it this season. I think everyone should start with season 3. Like if you've never watched it before, start at 3, I think. If you're not interested in going all the way back, start at 3. And I think this season is fantastic. I think it's better than Vanderpump Rules. It's one of my
Wow.
favorite shows to watch on Bravo. There's a lot of like fringe shows right now. Even Family Karma's really good on
Yeah,
Bravo.
we're getting a lot of people tweeting at us that Family Karma should be our next show.
I love Shaw's.
Yeah, Shaw's is crazy. Shaw's a little too dark for me right now. Like the
In these
drama
times.
on it with like with the MJ Reza thing, it just feels like a little bums me out a bit.
For me, it lifts me up. Go on.
I get that.
Yeah.
But
What
the
else are
fringe
you
shows-
watching, Danny, in general? Like
I watch everything. You know, I watch a little bit of everything.
everything
I
iconic.
can't do everything. Iconic.
Everything
Of course, I just finished Black Monday, so that was just like so fresh in my mind. I'm trying to think. A lot of reality. You know, I popped back into Kardashians this season, which I hadn't watched in years.
Oh, I've never
And
left.
I'm sort of enjoying it. Like I
Yeah, it's
into it.
amazing.
Yeah.
I've kept up with every last one of them. Every
went to
fucking
Miami?
episode I've been to Miami with them. I've been to New York with them. I've taken every city they've taken. I'm with them. And wow. I mean, if you haven't seen, please get back into this season when Courtney claws Kim's shoulder. They get in a physical fist fight. It's thrilling.
It was great
I
TV,
hate
and they're
Courtney.
also-
I hate Courtney with every bit of my being. She
Why?
is diametrically opposed to me. She's cold. She's rude. She's negative. She's a victim. Everything about her is what I hate in people. And Chloe,
You know,
and that's why she and Chloe are having a falling out now. Because
I
Chloe's
love
such a
that they
ray
were
of sunshine.
addressing.
Sorry,
They
go on,
were
Daniel.
addressing Courtney not going on vacations and like talking about filming stuff. And that's what I find most interesting about it this season. And did they do that before? Like, were they talking about behind the scenes?
So last year at the end, Courtney's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to film anymore. And they're like, just go, like, then go. And so it's the first time they've ever like actually talked about the show.
So
And then
did she
this
just
year,
go?
She didn't go, but she's still pissed that she's there. So they're even more pissed. Now they're like, nobody even likes you. Like, you're the one nobody likes. You keep threatening to go. Fucking go. And like, you don't work for this family. You don't put in the amount of work. Like, they're just pissed. They're like, basically, like, they're a fucking traveling circus and everybody's got to work.
Everyone's
to
hoofing.
earn.
Everyone's
and her whole thing is
hoofing.
like, I have different priorities from you guys. I want to be with my kids.
Then go. Be with your
Then
kids.
go. But it's
Yeah, don't
clear
do the
she's
show.
not quite willing to let it up, but she just wants to bitch about it all the time. And that's my least favorite. That's Tracy. You know, that's Tracy from New York.
Oh.
Guys, don't forget Tracy.
Tracy.
What do you think of the gals?
The Kardashians.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't been with them for so long, so I'm kind of just readjusting and trying to figure out who I like, to be honest. I mean, I love watching Chris do anything. This week or last week, there was that whole thing where Chris was wearing like a red wig. And that was a little tough to me because that felt very like shticky. And that was a moment where I was like, should I be watching
when
this?
I get done with the Kardashians, when it feels scripted to me, when they're like doing hijinks. That's when I get like, I don't want to watch. And that was my problem. That's why I couldn't really get into it from the beginning,
And
because
I
it felt
hear
scripted.
I hear you, Danielle. Believe me, I feel the exact same. But I think they're pulling away from that a little.
Which
I think they're just like,
I appreciate.
everyone wants to see us travel. They just want to see like our lifestyle, the luxuries, like.
Which I do.
dare
I
say.
do.
I always want to see more Kanye. That's just me personally.
And I like the houses. Like, I'm happy to just look at their houses.
too.
You know, I love an Architectural Digest video, and anytime I
Yep.
just can look at where they're living.
Clothes, makeup,
happy.
all of that. I want to see, but I just didn't like when it's the
Totally.
same. The
Yeah,
same
when
reason I didn't like the bra in the suitcase. Like, I don't like produced hijinks.
Yeah, they were always sending like Scott off with like Corey Gamble, like just
Yeah.
pairing Scott with anyone and being like, here's your storyline. Like, you're going to go see a psychic and then pretend it's a dog.
Yeah, I can't.
Have you guys ever seen Very Cavallari on the E! Network?
Of
It's the worst
course I
reality
have.
show ever
Yes.
created.
The
I believe.
worst ever.
Terrible, and I could not look away. It's so
It's
bad.
truly the worst.
But
I've seen every episode, and it's the worst.
What's
I've never
up with
seen
her?
something so bad. I don't know. It's very weird. Speaking of hijinks, it's like they do a lot of like animal stuff on the show. I don't know.
I mean, I
It's
used
such
to
a
watch
mess of
The
a show.
Hills, like every episode of The Hills, like OG type of. And before The Hills, Laguna Beach. Like,
I love The Hills. I love
watched
Laguna.
it all. So like I've gone way back with Very Cavallari.
Is
I think
Kristen
Very
a good
Cavallari is-
person?
No, she's a terrible person.
I think it's an embarrassing show for the network. Like, I would be embarrassed if I was E! Like, what are this is like an embarrassing production.
But I think they also
Good.
share
They're
with
like, we're all
Bravo.
set. We're good.
They keep recasting every season. It's a new cast.
Have you seen Married to Millions?
What?
No.
I urge you to check it out. Where is it
at?
Don't know. My sister-in-law got me into it. It's like, is it amazing? No, but it delivers on that title. And it's exactly what you think it is. Just people who are like, yeah, I'll marry that person. They've got millions. Like, that's the relationships we're seeing and the motivations behind it.
I'm in.
It's right out there in
I'm
the
in.
open.
Yeah, I'm in.
Wow. And you know,
Casey,
go ahead.
I do have a question for you. Can
Please.
were you going to say something? Can I ask you
No.
a question?
Yes.
What's going on with the happy endings table read? Are you guys doing like a happy endings thing?
We are absolutely doing it. They're like scheduling it, and we're going to do something very fun.
Oh, so you don't
can't
know
wait.
if you're doing like an old script or a new script? We don't know anything yet.
We're doing something very fun. And then we're going to like chat and take questions and all that, but we're going to read something in the beginning. It's going to be very fun for charity. So I'm excited.
That's
I need a
really cool.
reboot for my own charity of me wanting to watch it. Like a full-on reboot.
The
need
charity
that.
of you wanting to watch it. I love it.
Oh my God. Danny.
Thank you so
This was so
much for this
fun.
crossover. This was such
I know,
a.
thank you.
I do feel like you are now just sitting in that living room, even though it's not real. Like, I have just, my eye has got accustomed to you in this Beverly Hills strange.
If you could see the room I'm actually in, it is not as fancy. But I gotta say, the very first time I was on Bitch Sesh, I told Casey this, but I didn't get to tell you, Danielle. I went to your guys' very first live show, and it was truly a rock concert, and you guys inspired me to start a podcast, and I love you both. I think you're just the most brilliant people in the entire universe, and you make me laugh, and I'm just so...
Danny,
I love you
please, thank you for saying that, but I have to say, like, the amount of people that come up to me and they're like, do you follow, do you listen to Danny Pellegrino? I'm like, bitch, yes.
Oh.
Like, you are just a genius person, and you're so funny, and you're so sweet, and I think I do think in the medium that the three of us occupy a very strange world in which,
I love it.
we have devoted ourselves to garbage.
Art.
You have to be sweet to try to pull it off.
And I will say it's nice.
We all gave ourselves shows.
And I also, yes,
we're like, okay.
We all were like, let's dive into this medium. And the fact that we all have an eye for this art says something about us being kindred spirits.
We're like ambulance chasers. We're like, they're doing that. We're going to try to make a buck off them.
Wait, speaking of ambulance chasers, there's this show 911 Lone Star, which I'm also hooked, and it's totally a show for like 60-something women. Like that's their demographic.
That's perfect
and
for me.
I'm obsessed with it. And you said ambulance, and I'm just thinking of Liv Tyler because she's
the star?
She's a star with Rob Lowe.
Oh, I auditioned for this. Okay.
What?
Yes, I wish you were on it.
Brian Safi is on not 911. Yes, he's on original 911. Him and Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Also
I love them
auditioned for
both.
that.
I think they're both so wonderfully like weirdly good. But Liv Tyler plays an EMT, and she like whispers all her lines, and it's just so funny because she'll like have to shout something like get me the gauze or something, and she'll just be like, get me the gauze.
They're like, Liv, give us a little something. I do want to watch it. I love her. I'm so obsessed with her.
I do too.
I have the opposite
look.
problem as an actress where they're like when they're like, can you just whisper? And I'm like, got it. Got the note.
The amount of times I look over and see.
I'm always trying to reach the back of the house, even if the back of the house is not like a stage. It's not great.
They're like, we hear you.
Yeah.
I interviewed Fran Drescher on my show this week, and she was telling me like she's on Indebted with Adam Pally, and she was telling me like, if they wanted someone else, they're getting Fran Drescher. I'm going to be Fran Drescher, and she's like, this is who you get, and she's like, if they hire me, like I'm not going to play an old grandma. I'm going to play like a sexy grandma with my voice. And I just thought,
I love her.
She knows her.
You hire Fran, you get Fran.
Guess what? You hire loud Danielle, you get loud Danielle.
Yeah, that's what you get.
Same thing.
Danny, I hope we were worthy for a crossover with you. This has been so much fun.
No, I love you both. I hope everyone listens to Bitch Sesh and Everything Iconic, and hopefully we get to do this again. And I'd love to. We should do a live thing.
That would be great.
We should.
That would be so fun.
So much fun. This was great. We love you, Danny. Thanks for doing this.
I love you. Thank you guys so much for listening.
And thank you for having us
to
on.
Everything Iconic.
And Bitch Sesh.
Bye.
Bye.